The name Paul Teutul Jr. became famous all over the world because of his creativity, talent, and dramatic family story. Long before he became a television star, Paul Jr. was simply a young man growing up in a hard-working American family. He was born on October 2, 1974, to Paul Teutul Sr. and Paula Teutul in the United States. From an early age, Paul Jr. was surrounded by metal, machines, and the smell of steel workshops. His father owned a company called Orange County Iron Works, a business that specialized in metal fabrication and custom steel work. As a child, Paul Jr. spent many summers working in the shop with his father. While other kids played outside, he was learning how to shape metal, weld pieces together, and understand the hard work that came with running a business. At just 12 years old, he began helping at the shop during school vacations. These early experiences played a huge role in shaping his future career. While studying in high school, Paul Jr. joined a special educational program that allowed students to learn practical skills outside the classroom. Through this program, he developed strong abilities in metalworking and design. After graduating, he started working full-time at Orange County Iron Works and quickly proved himself as a talented worker. Eventually, he became the head of the railing shop in his father's company. During this time, something unexpected began to happen. His father started building motorcycles as a hobby. At first, it was just for fun, but soon the hobby turned into a serious business idea. Seeing his son's creativity and passion for design, Paul Sr. realized that motorcycles could become their next big venture. This moment would change both their lives forever and would later lead to the creation of one of the most famous motorcycle brands in television history. In 1999, Orange County Choppers was officially founded by Paul Teutul Sr., and the business quickly started gaining attention. But the true turning point came when the family appeared on the reality television show American Chopper, which premiered on the Discovery Channel in 2002. The show followed the daily operations inside the motorcycle shop and showed how the team designed and built incredible custom choppers. Viewers were fascinated by the creativity involved in building these machines. Each motorcycle had its own unique theme, and many of them were designed by Paul Teutul Jr. himself. His artistic vision quickly made him the star designer of the company. Fans loved watching him sketch designs, cut metal, and transform raw materials into beautiful motorcycles. But the show was not only about motorcycles. It also showed the intense relationship between father and son. Paul Teutul Sr. was known for his strong personality and strict leadership style, while Paul Jr. had a more creative and relaxed approach to work. These differences often created tension inside the shop. While the business was becoming more successful every year, the relationship between the two was slowly becoming more complicated. Millions of viewers tuned in every week to watch the family build bikes, argue about deadlines, and struggle to meet customer expectations. The combination of creativity, pressure, and family drama made the show extremely popular. Soon, American Chopper became one of the most watched reality shows on television. For Paul Jr., this was a dream come true. He was doing what he loved, designing motorcycles, and becoming famous at the same time. However, fame also brought new challenges. As the show grew bigger, so did the stress inside the company. The pressure of television cameras, tight schedules, and family disagreements slowly pushed the father and son toward one of the most explosive conflicts in reality TV history. Although fans loved watching the team build motorcycles, it soon became clear that the relationship between Paul Teutul Jr. and Paul Teutul Sr. was far from perfect. Their personalities were very different. Paul Sr. believed in discipline, strict schedules, and strong leadership. Paul Jr., on the other hand, focused more on creativity and artistic design. Over time, these differences turned into serious disagreements. One of the biggest issues between them was punctuality. Paul Sr. often accused his son of arriving late to work or not following the shop's rules. Meanwhile, Paul Jr. felt that his father did not respect his creative process. The situation finally exploded during a famous argument that became one of the most memorable moments in American Chopper history. During a heated discussion inside the office, the two began shouting at each other. What started as a simple conversation about work quickly turned into a full emotional confrontation. The argument was intense, emotional, and painful to watch. Both men expressed years of frustration and anger. At one point, the conflict became so serious that Paul Teutul Jr. was fired from the company. For fans of the show, this moment was shocking. The father and son who built the company together were now separating in front of millions of viewers. The argument quickly spread across the internet and became one of the most talked about moments in reality television. Clips of the fight were shared everywhere, and many people even turned the argument into internet memes years later. But behind the viral videos and jokes was a very real and painful family conflict. For Paul Jr., losing his job at the company he helped build was heartbreaking. It was not just a business decision. It was also a deeply personal moment that affected his relationship with his father and his future career. After leaving Orange County Choppers, many people wondered what would happen to Paul Teutul Jr. Some believed his career in the motorcycle industry might be over. But instead of giving up, he decided to start a new chapter in his life. In 2009, he founded his own company called Paul Jr. Designs. The new business focused on building custom motorcycles, just like the company he left. However, this time Paul Jr. was fully in charge of the creative direction. Starting a new company was not easy. He had to build a new team, find new clients, and prove that he could succeed on his own. But thanks to his talent and popularity, the business quickly attracted attention. Fans of American Chopper were curious to see what Paul Jr. would create without his father's involvement. Soon, the company began producing impressive motorcycles with unique designs and themes. Some of these bikes were even built for movies and major brands. One of the most exciting projects came when Paul Jr. Designs created special motorcycles inspired by the movie Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Out of the Shadows. These projects helped prove that Paul Jr. was not only a talented builder but also a successful entrepreneur. Around the same time, a new television series called American Chop Sr. vs. Jr. was created. The show followed the rivalry between Paul Jr.'s new company and his father's original shop. Once again, millions of viewers tuned in to watch the competition between the two businesses. The series showed that despite their conflict, both father and son were still passionate about building motorcycles. While the rivalry continued on television, Paul Jr. focused on growing his new brand and building a reputation separate from his father's shadow. As the years passed, Paul Teutul Jr. began reflecting on the events that changed his life. The conflict with Paul Teutul Sr. had been painful, but it also pushed him to grow as a person and as a business owner. Instead of allowing the past to define him, he focused on building a positive future. Over time, he expanded his career beyond motorcycles. He wrote a book titled The Build, Designing My Life of Choppers, Family, and Faith, which shared his personal story and the lessons he learned from his experiences. In the book, he spoke openly about his struggles, his family relationships, and the importance of faith in his life. He also began connecting with fans in new ways, including launching a podcast where he discussed motorcycles, creativity, and personal development. These projects allowed him to share his journey in a deeper and more meaningful way. Many fans appreciated seeing a different side of the famous builder. Instead of just the dramatic arguments from television, they saw a man who had learned from his mistakes and grown stronger because of them. Today, Paul Teutul Jr. continues to work in the motorcycle industry while also spending time with his family and focusing on his personal passions. The story of his conflict with his father will always be part of television history, but it is only one chapter of a much larger journey. His life shows that even after public conflict and personal setbacks, it is possible to rebuild, move forward, and create a new path. For many fans, his story is not just about motorcycles or television fame. It is about resilience, creativity, and the complicated relationships that shape our lives. When American Chopper first appeared on television, few people expected it to become such a cultural phenomenon. The show did not only focus on motorcycles, it also showed the real emotions, frustrations, and challenges inside a family business. For Paul Teutul Jr., fame arrived very quickly. One day he was a metal worker designing motorcycles in a small shop, and the next day millions of people around the world were watching him every week on television. This sudden popularity changed his life in many ways. On the positive side, it allowed him to showcase his creative talents to a global audience. His designs became famous for their bold shapes, creative themes, and impressive craftsmanship. Many fans admired his artistic vision and considered him the true creative force behind the motorcycles built at Orange County Choppers. However, fame also brought pressure. Television cameras captured every disagreement, every mistake, and every emotional moment between him and Paul Teutul Sr. In many workplaces, arguments happened behind closed doors, but for the Teutul family those conflicts were broadcast to millions of viewers. This made every disagreement feel bigger and more dramatic. Over time, the pressure of being constantly filmed began to affect their relationship. Small misunderstandings sometimes turned into large confrontations because emotions were already high. The show also created expectations from fans who wanted to see excitement and drama in every episode. While the motorcycles remained the main focus, the family tension became one of the biggest reasons people continued watching the series. For Paul Jr., this meant living with the difficult reality that some of his most personal family struggles were becoming entertainment for viewers around the world. Among the many dramatic moments on American Chopper, one argument between Paul Teutul Jr. and Paul Teutul Sr. became especially famous. The confrontation happened during a heated discussion about work responsibilities and deadlines at Orange County Choppers. What began as a conversation quickly turned into an emotional explosion. Both father and son shouted at each other, expressing years of frustration that had built up inside the shop. Viewers watching the episode could feel the intensity of the moment. It was clear that this was not just about work or arriving late to the shop. The argument revealed deeper issues involving respect, communication, and the challenges of mixing family relationships with business responsibilities. After the episode aired, the scene quickly spread across the internet. Years later, clips from the fight became popular again on social media. Many people turned the argument into memes, adding humorous captions and editing the footage for comedic effect. While these memes entertained many viewers, they also reminded fans of how serious the original conflict had been. Interestingly, both Paul Teutul Jr. and Paul Teutul Sr. later commented on the popularity of these memes. They admitted that they never expected such a painful moment in their lives to become a source of humor for internet users. Despite the unusual situation, they also recognized that the scene became part of pop culture history. Today, that argument is still remembered as one of the most intense confrontations ever shown on reality television. It demonstrated how powerful emotions can become when family members work together under pressure. After leaving Orange County Choppers, Paul Teutul Jr. faced one of the most important challenges of his life. Many people wondered whether he could succeed without the support of his father's company or the popularity of the original television show. Starting Paul Jr. Designs was both a bold and risky decision. Building a new business required determination, creativity, and patience. At first, the company operated on a smaller scale, but Paul Jr. quickly proved that his design skills were still in high demand. Clients admired his ability to create motorcycles that were not only functional but also artistic works of metal. Each project allowed him to express his unique style, something that had sometimes been difficult while working under his father's leadership. The company began receiving requests from major brands and entertainment companies that wanted custom motorcycles for promotional events or special projects. This helped the business grow and gain recognition within the custom motorcycle industry. Fans who followed American Chopper were also curious to see how Paul Jr.'s independent company would develop. When American Chopper, Sr. vs. Jr. premiered, viewers were able to watch the competition between the two shops. The show highlighted the different working styles of father and son while also celebrating their shared passion for motorcycles. For Paul Jr., this period became an opportunity to prove that he could stand on his own as a successful designer and entrepreneur. Over time, his company established its own identity and reputation, separate from the legacy of Orange County Choppers. The journey of Paul Teutul Jr. is not only about motorcycles or television fame. It is also a story about personal growth, resilience, and learning from difficult experiences. The conflict with Paul Teutul Sr. was painful, but it forced both men to reflect on their relationship and the choices they had made. Over time, they began to understand each other better and slowly work toward improving their communication. While their relationship has had many ups and downs, both father and son have expressed appreciation for the role the other played in their success. Without their shared passion for building motorcycles, the famous company and television show might never have existed. Paul Jr. has also spoken openly about how his experiences changed his perspective on life. In his book The Build, Designing My Life of Choppers, Family, and Faith, he describes the importance of balancing work, family, and personal beliefs. Writing the book allowed him to tell his story in his own words, offering fans a deeper understanding of the challenges he faced behind the scenes. Today, he continues to explore new creative opportunities while maintaining his connection to the motorcycle industry. His story shows that success is not always a straight path. Sometimes it involves setbacks, conflicts, and moments of doubt. But with determination and self-belief, it is possible to rebuild and create a new future. For many fans of American Chopper, the story of Paul Teutul Jr. remains inspiring because it proves that even after public conflicts and personal struggles, people can grow stronger and continue pursuing their dreams. Today, Paul Teutul Jr. continues to be one of the most recognized names in the custom motorcycle world. Even years after the peak popularity of American Chopper, his work and stories still attract attention from fans of motorcycles and reality television. Through his company Paul Jr. Designs, he remains active in creating unique custom bikes and creative design projects. While the early years of his career were filled with dramatic conflicts and intense public attention, his life today is much more balanced. He often shares updates about his work and personal life with fans through social media, giving people a look at what he is currently building and the projects he is working on. Many longtime followers appreciate seeing this calmer and more reflective side of the famous motorcycle designer. Instead of the heated arguments that once dominated television screens, they now see a businessman and family man who has learned valuable lessons from the past. One of the most important changes in his life has been his focus on family. After experiencing the pressure of fame and the emotional challenges of working in a high-stress environment, Paul Jr. began placing greater importance on spending time with loved ones and creating a healthier work-life balance. This shift has helped him maintain a positive outlook while continuing to grow his career. He has also explored new ways to connect with his audience, including podcasts and interviews where he discusses creativity, business, and personal development. These conversations allow him to share advice with young builders and entrepreneurs who hope to follow a similar path. Even though the dramatic rivalry with Paul Teutul Sr. will always be remembered as one of the most famous storylines from American Chopper, it is only one chapter in a much larger life story. Over the years, Paul Jr. has shown that success is not defined by a single moment of conflict or failure. Instead, it is shaped by how someone responds to those challenges. By continuing to build, design, and innovate, he has proven that passion and determination can lead to new opportunities even after difficult setbacks. His journey remains an inspiring example for many fans who watched him grow from a young metalworker into a successful designer and entrepreneur.